Let's go like this. Yeah. I think that ought to work. If I remember right, it was like 11:30. I think. Which would be a challenge. Because there's none of them on here where there's two ones together. And this wasn't made specifically for these locomotives. Got to figure out what I'm going to do number-wise. I know what the authentic numbers were, but I don't necessarily, it doesn't bother me to not have the authentic numbers as long as the locomotive itself looks authentic. So I got to figure out, I've already got the ones on the sides. I just got to figure out what I'm going to do on the ends for the number boards and then for the larger road numbers. And I'm trying to figure out what number would be best. Be easy just to go off one end to the other. So really, and I don't want to do the big numbers because it didn't look good as big numbers. It was supposed to be smaller numbers that went under the window. So I already got it painted. And this is just going to be a rolling dummy. I have these that are going to go on. For those that aren't familiar, these came from some random Tyco locomotives. I think the two should work. And then I've got my springs. So that it rides right. I'm going to save the motor for another locomotive, but I am going to rob the wheels off of it. Let's see here. Need my screwdriver. Yeah. Take these off. Number one. Two. And then this one's got the side frames broke off of it. That's just how it showed up. I'll have to get some new side frames. There's a guy I like to order from on eBay. His name is called, I think it's the Mighty Santa Fe is what it says. And I'll have to see about ordering from him some side frames for it. And there's the motor. Yep, you can see it turning in there. That should be a good one. Is whenever I resolder the wiring back to it, that should be a good motor. I want to save that for something where I have a decent shell to use. There's the wheels. Put the screws away. I wish this would be a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can. That might be a little better. Okay, there's that. Got these. Oh, I'm missing. Here we go. Got these. Those are the back end, and that one's got some crud on it I'll have to take off. Okay, that can go in there. All right. For a road number, I think for this one, I'm going to go 1626, which would be, well, 1708. Oh no, okay, I see what they did here. So the lower ones match here, and then up here the same. And if I do these, then I got to do the white covers on the road numbers, or on the mounts where the road numbers go. Okay. I think 1626 is going to be about as close as I can get. 1708, it would make a difference either. I wish they had an 11 in here somewhere. But trying to cut these apart and then put them back together is a nightmare. So I think we're just going to go that route. So for starters, I've got my little tray of water to let these sit in, and we'll start putting on the road numbers. Okay, let's get the scissors here. Oh, these here. The smaller numbers are the accurate size for what goes under the window. At least from all the pictures that I've seen online anyway. It won't be the correct number, but it'll be the right size at least. And to the untrained eye or somebody that isn't looking on Google for an exact road number, which I think they were 1130 through 1139, I think is what the actual numbers were for these Alco locomotives. This should be about as close as I'm going to get. There's that one. And that one. And you know what I'm going to do? I am not going to try to use scissors to cut that. It's way too small. I'm going to get my hobby knife. Where did I sit? Oh, there they are. Okay. Went to an auction and picked me up a nice little hobby knife and some glue. All come in a toolbox. So there's the knife. There's the glue. This stuff's awesome. I love that stuff. And then these are what the decals actually came in. Probably should have put out the address there, but I ain't worried about it too much. Let's see here. Let's get this open so that I can put it together. And we'll try to get the ball rolling on this. Let me show you, I got my water. Got my little tray of water. We're going to try to put these decals on this locomotive. I've learned that I'm really learned to like these water slide decals. They're they're pretty nice. I don't have to be as quick about sticking the sticker on. And then I can adjust it once I put it on there. That way I can get it nice and straight. And it works out great. Burlington Northern Rail fan, how you doing? Micro set? You'll have to help me out there. I'm not real good on the lingo. Not yet, anyway. I'm kind of just going with the flow and learning as I go. I used to do this a lot when I was a kid, and just play with them. I didn't do the actual hobby side of things where you're making new things. And these aren't microset. Now I remember. No, these aren't microset. These are K4. Yeah, K4 decals off of eBay, and these work really, really well. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see here. Where's my blade? What did I do with my blade? I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. I swear, sometimes it's terrible that way. I think. Were there instructions? It's pretty bad if I got to read the instructions on how to put together a knife. Let's see here. Yeah, like I said, I'd lose my head. There it is. I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. No instructions. Nope, none whatsoever. So I got to figure this one out on my own. So if I can do this without cutting myself wide open, we'll be in pretty good shape. It doesn't want to unthread out of the... There it goes. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, let's see if I can get it in there now. There we go. Perfect. Tighten that dude down. And now I got my hobby blade. I'm going to scoot him back a little bit. I'm going to try to get these cut off of here. One, two, okay. And I think that blade kind of cut them crooked. Good thing I've got extras. Okay, we're going to go ahead and just do 1708. The hell with the 1626. We'll just do 1708. Go like this. Take shape whenever you apply them to its cheap, softens them so they lay over the bone. Yeah, these are like what you're describing. They're real similar to what you're explaining. Trying to concentrate here so I don't screw these up. There we go. I'm gonna cut the other side here. So I get them out of here, then I'll be all right. Let's see here. Here we go. Yeah, these water slide decals work really good that way. And do exactly what you were saying. So we'll take these. And my hands are so not built for this. I don't know if I can get that with scissors or not. We're going to try it though. Save me the, Yep, I think we're going to get it with the scissors, at least to split it in half. Okay. Set that to the side. And then I'll take and show you, but I sit them in the water. And then they'll separate, and then I'll have a clear backing to go on my locomotive. The next thing I'll do here is I take just a little bit of water and I put it on the window like that so that they're real easy to slide around. Okay, where are my tweezers? Here we go. So if I do this, oh, see, it's already starting to move there. And these tweezers aren't the best in the world. I wish they were a little better than they are, but we're gonna have. Okay, there's my number. I'm gonna turn it over. This is definitely a learning curve trying to do it all on video at the same time. I'm used to being able to do a talk through afterwards, or what do they call that, a voiceover. Let's take my blade here and see if we can't gently use the back side of it and put it in place. And then what I'll do when I'm finished, there we go, just like that. And then what I'll do when I'm finished is I will put a matte clear coat over it so that I can keep the, whoa, get the water here. I'll put a matte clear coat over it. That way I don't lose the appearance that I want. See what I'm doing here? And they dry rather fast. You could still rub your finger across it and take the sticker off if you wanted to. But I'm trying to be gentle here. I've got it exactly where I want it. And there's one of them. The ones that are really going to be hard are doing the ones up there. Those are the ones that are going to be a challenge. But there's the 1708 for one side. Now we got to do the other side. Put a little water on here. Move this over so I'm not working at an angle here. Here we go. Got the water on. A little more. Yep. That way I'm guaranteed to not screw it up. I messed it up one time and had to peel them off and then had to find a new sheet of numbers to put on it. You use Microsoft. I got you. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with some of the. I'm still learning, but I'm pretty good with a can of paint, and I loved art in school. So this stuff really, I'm not too bad at it. Okay, there's that, and then let's put it where it goes. Right under the window. Yeah. That's true. And that's why I put so much water on there so that it really does float around. Because like you said, yeah, even using a toothpick, I have tore the decals before, and it is frustrating trying to make sure you get everything just right because it bothers you. I don't know how many times I've done something while I'm working around the house or whatever, and other people thought, man, that looks good. But it drove me nuts because I know what happened when I was putting it in and I had to patch it or try to get it to look as good as I could without having to spend more money or take it off and do it over. But thank you, Model Roadshow. There's that 1708 on this side. Norfolk and Western. Now we got to do the ends, and this part is going to be the hardest because I have to put on the white. The way these are made, I have to put the white on first, and then I have to get my number, which my numbers are down here. So I'll use those four numbers, 1708, and then I have to use the white stickers so that everything shows up on the deal. This is going to be interesting for sure. Trying to get everything to overlay the way it's supposed to. I'll probably have to put those on and like wait for them to dry for a few minutes before I can actually put the 1708 on. I don't know how it's going to work laying sticker over sticker, but we're going to give it a shot. Let's see if I can cut these out on camera, maybe, possibly. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to end up having to do that. I'm worried that when I go to stick the next numbers on, it's going to be a nightmare. I'm going to have the white ones moving, and then I'm going to have the black ones trying to move on the white, and it might be a nightmare. But I do have something else to show when I get done doing this. I purchased from Poshmark an Athearn blue box that is undecorated, and I'm going to try to figure out how I want to go about decorating it. Ooh, be gentle. I don't want to cut into that other one. There we go. There we go. Okay. There's these four, and then I got to trim them down even more to try to get it right. I'm going to have to do something better for a camera eventually. Right now, all I'm using is my phone, and it sucks not being able to use my phone while I'm working on this. And then it zooms in and zooms out. Whoa. There's that one. And then I gotta try not to lose what I'm cutting too. There it is. And then I gotta try to pick it up and not crinkle it at the same time. And believe it or not, for those that hadn't heard it yet, this is a Tyco. This was a Chessie System Tyco C630 is what this was. And I've already painted it, and I'm turning it into a free rolling dummy. There we go. And it's going to look just as good or better than the Bachmann ones I did. With train stuff getting so expensive, I just prefer learn and tinker and doctor on my on the current stuff I have, or on something cheap that I can pick up. And then when I decide to do something really nice, then I have a little more confidence in it, and I'm not ruining them. There's another one. I got you. Yeah, the phone, it works. It's just and I'm also trying to learn to work around it, and that's kind of a challenge, trying to keep everything in the frame. And I mean, as far as making videos and stuff, it works really well, but trying to do the live stuff is definitely a learning curve. This is the first live I've done, and it's not going too bad, I guess, but there's 3 out of 4. Oh, it's so difficult. Oh my gosh, because I can barely hold the sticker. There we go. Okay, there's those 4. Now let's put them in the, let's get rid of my scissors and my blade. And let's put the white stickers in the bath here. There we go. 1. I'll do 2 of them to start. That way the other 2 don't sit in the stuff forever. DJI action cam for the modeling stuff. Although I haven't put up any real modeling vids yet. Mostly opinion and layout tour. Yeah, something I thought about now that you mentioned that, as far as camera goes, I would love to have a little flatbed rail car and put some kind of a camera on it. So either your locomotive could push it or drag it amongst the cars if it's got like a real broad screen. And you could kind of drag it around and you could get a rail view. I know I've seen other people do it, but I thought that'd be a pretty neat idea. Some kind of a GoPro, or like you said, that like an action camera. I think that'd be pretty cool. When I raced motocross, I had a Sony action cam, and it did really well. It had a deal in it that, so whenever there was a lot of jarring and vibration, it you didn't have to worry about it shaking so bad and the picture being terrible. Oh man, this is going to be a challenge. Let's see here. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it's coming off. Well, I grabbed the wrong piece. I don't need that. I need this. I'm going to get it wet real quick. Okay. And then hopefully it'll lay right in over those old numbers, because this has those plastic stamped numbers on it. Yep, this should lay right in the way I want it here. Toothpick. Toothpick. One that's preferably not covered in soot would be great. Let's go with a new one. Okay. Now naturally this is like the, well, if I put it in the water it ain't gonna help me none. This is the first one I've done like this with these white covers. Usually I just put on it was a white number board with, I think, with the black letters already on it, which was great. But this isn't quite the same. Let me get a paper towel here and see if I can't dab and push at the same time and get it to sit where I want it to. There we go. Push. There we go. Yeah, because you can kind of see the number through it, which isn't going to matter a whole lot once I press the new one on, but that's going to be about as close as I can get when it comes to overlaying on it. I wish that wouldn't have turned down. I wish it would have stayed up just a little bit, but when you got them zooming by you, I don't think it's going to hurt it too awful much. So there's one. Let's see if we can get the other one to do just as well. Yeah, see if I hold it out here. You ever heard of somebody saying, "Yeah, it looks good from 20 foot. It's got the 20-foot paint job." That's what it looks like. I'm my worst critic. I will pick myself apart working on these. Okay, there's that one. We're going to try to stick this dude on there. Put a little water on the number board. Let's do it upside down. That way that water doesn't run down over my decal. There we go. And that's something I haven't done yet either. I want to start a layout, and with everything else I've got going on, I got 2 trucks in the driveway I'm working on. I just haven't taken the time to try to start building a layout. I've got a bar that I'm trying to build too. I got a lot of money going in a lot of different directions, and this kind of takes the back burner to a point. Yeah, that's going to be okay, I think. It's a little lower than I wanted it, but it's not the worst in the world. Okay, there's that. And then once I cover this all with mat, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. Get that water off of there. Yeah. Okay, now to do the front. But now that I've done one and then the other, well, it shouldn't be too awful bad. Turn that over. There we go. Take and put a drop of water. On there. Let's see here. Yeah, it definitely is a. You got to have a little talent to be able to do this and talk and make sure everything stays on camera. So this is going to be a learning curve for sure, but I think this is going to go pretty well if I can start doing these regularly, especially now that I've got that other Athearn that I'm going to be able to start decorating too. Turn it over. There we go. There's my paper towel. Whoa, come on now. I don't want to push down on it yet because it's not quite stuck to it good enough. Yeah, horizontal. Yeah, I looked at that and I couldn't make up my mind whether I wanted it horizontal or vertical. Um, I was kind of torn. I thought, man, if it's vertical, because I like doing the shorts that I've been doing. It's like if it's vertical, maybe it would be easier to view. But yeah, I think horizontal is going to be the better choice. I agree with you on that. Come on, there we go. Yeah, for long format, absolutely. Because this is definitely not a short deal by any means. Yeah, what are we already 30 minutes into this? Come on. I almost think I need to take it off and stick it in the water again. I've done that before and it made a difference, but try to roll this on. Come on. Those raised boards are not my friend right now. Yeah, it's hugging it now a little bit. There we go. Definitely better than it was. It looks a little wonky, but not terrible. And like I said, I'm doing this is a Tyco that I'm doing. This was a Tyco anyway. I'm going to try to make it look as realistic as possible. And I've got some the what is the term? Can't remember the term, but the uprights for the handrails. I've got those in, and I just have to go pick up some wire so I can run the handrails and paint those. And then I'll do the yellow safety paint on the front as well. But I should be in good shape. I have 35 of them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 13. That's 26 plus 8. You have 4 on the back and 4 on the front. Oh, so it's going to be just enough to do this with a couple left over. But okay, there's that one. That one's pretty well done. About as close as I'm going to be able to get it. Micro 759, make a long. Yeah, I'm going to have to. I was going to say, shoot me a link to it. Find one of my other videos or something and shoot me a link. I have this. I have Reddit too, Loco Rail Runners on Reddit, that I've been running for a little while. I've been posting to what is it called? I think it's just called r/model railroad or r/ho model railroad. I'm not sure which model railroading. And I've been really enjoying some time there. I've been getting a lot of good information on different things I can get to try to help me in the future. One thing, one of the biggest dilemmas I had on there and got a ton of answers was I have a Conrail that I want to put blue paint on the handrails, but it's an Athearn shell. And they said what happened was Athearn made, yeah, that might be the better choice. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to do this first, and worst comes to worst, I think I can get it peeled off. But yeah, with those raised deals with the numbers on them, I'm hoping that when I put the black numbers on that it works. I didn't have this problem with the other one. What was the other one I did? Oh, with the Bachmans, because the Bachmans, the road numbers were slick on the clear. They had like clear lenses here, and the numbers were slick. So when I put a new number on, it stuck, and you didn't see the raised numbers through it. And you can't paint that. I can't. I don't know. Somebody might be able to, but there's no way in the world I could paint that. No way. My hands aren't that still. I can't hold my hands that still to paint something like that and get it to stay accurate. It'd be a sloppy mess, and I would be my biggest critic on that. Oop, there we go. But for now, we're going to try this, and I'm going to see what happens. Worst comes to worst, it's just a cheap Tyco shell that I'm working on, and I can find another one to do. There's a ton of these more common ones that I can find. And can do another paint job and put another one together. There we go. They look good whenever I set them right on there, but once they start trying to seal themselves to the lens, it makes it look a little uglier. Get motivated video for the microsol and microset. Right on. I'll have to look at that. I appreciate the info. I'm definitely gonna have to look into that. I'd like to figure out, I can rewire things back the way they were, but I'm not a wire guru by any means. I can fix stuff that's broke, like resolder stuff and that. But I'm not good with like trying to figure out how to do like lighting and shit. But I'd like to drill out the two holes here and actually have some lights on it too, eventually. But that's time, money, and a lot of YouTubing down the road, trying to watch other people do it and see how it's done. That one didn't turn out too bad. And so if you look from here, yeah, you can see the numbers through it a little bit, but that didn't turn out too awful bad at all. Especially if you was to like you were saying to paint. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think they look any worse than me trying to dab some white paint on there. Yeah. So now I got the Norfolk and Western on the sides. I got the numbers on under the windows. I have the Northwestern on the rear and the cover plates on the rear. I say cover plates, the backgrounds for the numbers. So we should be in good shape there. I'm going to try to go back to the back. With there not being, the water's pretty well all dried up. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot at putting some numbers on it. Worst comes to worst, I got to peel them off and do something else. Like I said, this cheap Tyco shell. I just found one that was in good enough shape, but the paint was all wore off, and beat up. But just the actual shell itself was still in good enough shape that I could just paint it. And I bombed that flat black Rust-Oleum so that it had a matte color to it instead of a gloss, kind of like those old locomotives had. I've looked at a few of them on the internet and could see they looked like somebody just shot them with a flat black paint. Let's see here. 1708. Here we go. And these are going to be just as difficult as the white things, if not worse, trying to get them nice and centered on there. But we'll see how we do here. Get this cut up and put these on. And go from there. Let's see here. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking up that information you sent me. I'll check out your video or videos and see what I can do about getting some stuff that'll help them set up better. The micro set and the what was the other stuff? Micro sole and micro set. Yes. Yeah. There's the numbers. Now I just got to cut them out all individually to stick them on there. Okay. Yep, there's the numbers. Yep, it's coming. Slowly but surely, it's coming. Like I said, that's my biggest challenge, is trying to make sure I keep, and I don't want to. I will definitely be doing a horizontal video next time, for sure. Let's see here. Am I going to get it? There we go. I don't want them to fall in the water quite yet. If I can help it. There we go. Oh, okay, it's there. And then that one. Okay, there they are. I got some extra. I can get rid of that. That way I can see what's what. I've got them shavings everywhere, and I'll spend 5 minutes looking for a number I lost because I got all the scraps laying around and can't tell the difference between what's scrap paper and what's a number. And then I try to turn the number over so I can see what it is. And then it turns out to be just a piece of scrap paper. So the hunt continues. Okay. Number one. Well, Put that in the water, and we'll do the second one too. Because basically I've got one set of each number, so once I've shot the number's shot. So, okay, there's that. Turn it to the back here. And make sure I put the number on upside down when I do it this way. Wouldn't that be something? Put the number on right side up, upside down, because I'm just trying to keep the water from running down the locomotive. Let's see here. Just put just a little bit of water on that. Just a little. I don't want to upset it to the point that it decides it needs to move around again. Okay, there's my number. There it slid. I need some better tweezers. I'm going to have to get better tweezers. Come on, focus, focus. Okay. We're just going to turn this right side up. Okay, actually that actually doesn't look too bad. Considering what I'm fighting with here with those molded numbers being underneath, that don't look, for what I got going on here, that don't look too bad. Let's scoot it back over. Scoot it down just a tad. There we go. Now if I can get my paper towel to dab it on, when I push, it does get the water off of it. That could be so much worse. So much worse. That's not too bad at all. Not in my opinion. Not for what I'm doing. Not for trying to do it over those, you can see it over those raised numbers. It's actually molding to it quite well. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Either try to punch them out and put something different in there, or like you said, yeah, try to file down those numbers um, the next go around. I don't think it looks atrocious by any means, and if when I put the mat over it, I think it's going to help. But but for sure, next time I think the sanding of the numbers would be a good choice. I was just, like I said, I'm kind of learning as I go, and um, I was hoping maybe it would work out for me the right way, this way, and it's not looking terrible, but it's not looking, pristine either per se. Yeah, on camera. That's the thing too. Yeah, on camera things look so much better than they do in real life. I could pick myself apart on some of this stuff, but you face back and forth out of the frame and looking at it, and I'm like, it looks good. I don't know. It looks good. I don't know. Back and forth. There's some more water. Let's see what I can do here. Whoa. Okay, it's on there. I just got to move it around. Not too much. There we go. Try to get it all on the white there. There we go. And they look good. They look even better um, till I really push them down good, and the water all comes out the back end. If they would stay bubbled up like that, they would look really nice. And that one doesn't look too awful bad at all either. Yeah, that don't look too awful bad. I mean, they look just a little. The one looks a little distorted, I guess, from the way it sits on the one that was already on there. But I mean, that don't look too bad in my opinion. Now we got to do the front. We're going to see what the front turns out to be. This one kind of like cupped under the. I'm trying to get it in focus. Yeah, cupped in under the lens. So we'll have to see what we can do there. Got two to go, and then that part will be done. And then I'm going to paint it. I'm going to spray it with matte and jump over to that Athearn blue box that I bought. It's brand new in the box, and it's an old box. The box has got a lot of wear on it, um, but I want to look at that, see what my ideas are going to be for that one, because I really want to I want that one to look really freaking nice when I'm done with it. That's going to be like my first real project with something real. Um, and I'm hoping I don't have to strip it down when I'm done. I'm either going to make it a Conrail. It's I guess I should start with that. It's a GP 50 EMD, I believe. And I'm either going to go Conrail or Norfolk Southern with it, and I have not made up my mind yet. It's not a I can't remember. I did some research. It's not a high nose locomotive. It looks like a 38-2, really, in my opinion, other than, some of the little details around the shell. But we'll see if I can get that to. There it goes. Um, it looks a lot like a GP38-2, but I guess it's got some details on the actual shell, and the vents on top are different. Oh, not that much. Toothpick, 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 toothpick. Can I get the whole thing to slide over just a touch? Maybe. Right on, dude. Thanks for stopping in. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for the info too. I do appreciate all that. Stay in touch. Kind of push that down a little bit around the top. Kind of feel like Bob Ross the way I'm talking my way through this. Let's see if I can't push that down now. There we go. Not bad for the way it's got to be. The way it's got to be done. That ain't bad at all. Here we go. All right, now we got one to go. You gotta be. Oh, there we go. You always want to pull on one end and not push. If you push, sometimes you crinkle the number, and you can ruin it real easy that way. I learned that with the first F unit that I put the Pennsylvania Central scheme on. Whoa, get out there. There we go. In the water. And on the locomotive, maybe. This one's being a little bit more. Always seems to be the last one. It never fails. Your last one always seems to be the bigger pain of all of it. There we go. As long as I can get it to sit on there, I can move it around with the toothpick. Okay, I got that lip up. Let's use the toothpick, the tweezers, instead of the toothpick, and see if I can't get it to slide. There we go. Perfect. Now I just got to dab that dude down, and all of my road numbers will be finished. And they're not perfect by any means, but it's better than it not having them. That's for sure. Man, that kind of... I may try to dab some black paint or something in there. I wish that sticker would have been over here. I wish this thing would focus. There it is. I wish that sticker... Well, now we're out of focus again. I'm going to use a toothpick. If we're going to be like that, I'm going to use a toothpick. But yeah, I wish that sticker would go that way just a little bit, and I'm just not that lucky. I might be able to put just a little bit of black paint here to help clean that up. I can't do a whole lot about it trying to wrap around the bottom of the number board with them being pre-molded. That's the word. That's the term I was looking for, pre-molded number boards. I'm kind of stuck with that. Unless I did like Model Railroad Show said and actually filed them down. That's just something I got to deal with. But let's see here. I do have a bag. Where's it at? Oh, over here. So if you look here, you could go Norfolk and Western on the longer locomotives, or NW on your shorter ones. And I guess you could probably do them any which way you wanted to if you want to be creative with it and make it your own way, or whatever you want to do. Just depends on how particular you are whenever you're modeling. I'm not a big stickler, but I do like it to look legitimate. Okay, there's that. It's cool to put my little hobby knife together. I got that done. I got the decals all on this one. I do want to do a little dabbing of some chrome paint or something. I wanted to make some of this stuff look like it was a little worn. I was looking on the locomotive itself, and everything I saw, man, everything was just black. There was no real detail. I mean, when they painted these, they painted everything black. You know, from the horns to the doors to the vents. I mean, you didn't see any chrome or steel showing in here at all. If anything at all, for your guys that do the weathering, you saw some rust runs, you know, from different spots on the locomotive, maybe from the vents, or like a darker black, or when I say flat black, like a really flat black. Sometimes you could see that where the soot was coming out the vents and stuff. But that's something that kind of impressed me with these locomotives, is just how well detailed they were for being a cheap Tyco. And you can see this one here. This one's broke. but this is what this came from. So you have, this is a 1776, and I painted a C430 locomotive, which would be one of these, and have it set up as a Penn Central. And you can see that's got the raised number plates on it. If you quit focusing on my hand and focus on it, you can see the raised number plates when you paint over that. But yeah, they did put a ton of detail into them for what they are. I think the last thing I'm going to do with this for now, well, I'm torn. I don't know if I want to try to put some other accents on it or just leave it the way it is and paint it. I've already got my side frames painted, which are these here, which are ready to go. And then I have my two mounting deals for the trucks. I got my wheels. I've got my weight. Scoot this over. I've got I think these were for the fuel tanks that went along on the sides. I got those painted up and ready to go. Got the springs for the top of the deals there so that it'll float like it's supposed to. I think that's how I'm going to end up leaving it. I think I am going to go ahead and put that matte coating on it, and then we'll come back to it tomorrow night and see what it looks like and go ahead and start assembling it. I'd like to do one of these videos once an evening, but I'm not sure what time's going to allow with me having other projects going on around the house too, between building the bar, putting the trucks together, and all the other stuff. So, well, we've had people pop in and out through the evening and a couple likes. I mean, that ain't bad for our first live stream. I'm gonna keep posting, and we're gonna try to make this thing grow. I hope you guys all enjoyed what we did this evening. This one's gonna end up being on Facebook permanently. I'm pretty happy with this one. The only drawback is, like one of the guys that popped in earlier said, I need to do them horizontally, not vertically. So more, it's easier to see what I'm doing. But you all have a good night, and I will talk to you soon.